they project, you know, basically. I feel like a lot of, I'm having a hard time stating this, but remember, Israel is 0.2% of the world's population, surrounded
That's a
by
rough diamond.
actors.
Good find. It'll fetch a high price.
And if you look at it, the bad actors are 2 billion people, and so I think a lot of times we project our own values into 2 billion people. Probably don't believe the way the average American works. And we're talking about Israel and the red heifer, give them the red heifer, have it. Let them have the third temple. They're 0.2% of the population, 7.5 million people, surrounded by a bunch of people that don't want.
I mean, I heard that.
You have to remember.
No, I heard that. Israel is working with the globalists, with our own government, to ship the Palestinians to Europe and the United States. Israel is a government. It has different governments, different policies. Israel tried to force shots on their own people out there, not because I'm against Jews. And so this idea that Israel is a monolith is, and just has to be supported. What? I'm not here to talk about what Mike Adams or somebody else says on their show, okay? I catch some of the show, read their articles, think it's informative. So I'm not my brother's keeper. I'm here saying I don't like what Hamas did. Why did Israel stand down? Something else is going on, and now they're going to push him all the way into southern Gaza and blow them up, and that's going to be on TV. That, A, I don't want to kill those innocent people. B, that is going to actually look horrible. So you can say, oh, the Jews in Israel are 8 million people or whatever. Well, what about the 1.5 million Palestinians? They're people too. Year-old babies deserve to be bombed. I would not want my own government to do that. So I don't want the Islamists. I'm against that, but I'm also against Israel trying to ship them here. That's being talked about. So criticize policies of an Israeli government. I criticize the policies of the British government. I don't blame the British people on average, like Gigi. I hate communist China. I'm not blaming the Chinese people on average. Does that make sense to you?
It does. I actually think if you look at it, the Palestinians, I mean, it's a forward operating base for hostile actors like Iran, just constant terror attacks. I mean, what would America do if they had?
Oh yeah, so why did Biden give them $6 billion a month before? Answer my question. Who in Israel stood down? There was a 7-hour stand down. Israel's an armed camp, no armored vehicles, no nothing. What was that?
I mean, I don't know.
Israel's got the best military, the best special forces. I don't know if that's true, but they're certainly not incompetent. They're certainly some of the best. And magically, we're not supposed to talk about that because we're pro-Israel. No. This is a bigger play for global destabilization. And so I'm pulling above the Palestinians and the Israelis, trying to actually see what the hell's going on here.
I think the bad actors are the New World Order that wants to change the world. Is appropriate if it's against their religion. I feel like if we know I feel like we're looking at the Israel conflict very one-dimensionally. They're a tiny country.
I know, many countries, thanks. You said it 3 times, that's enough. I gotta get to other callers. Something stinks with October 7th. I don't support Hezbollah. It was funding Hamas. I called it. I said it was wrong. And then Israel says, oh, we're just going to blow up the north of Lebanon, move south. Then they blow up the north, and they say move to the north. They now move to south. Now there's nowhere for those people to go. They're hemmed in by the sea and 70-foot barbed wire fences with Egypt and an Israeli wall. So they don't have anywhere to go. And I don't buy into Netanyahu invoking the Old Testament saying killing the children and their animals. That's not what I support. I don't want to get rid of Israel. I'm not against Israel. Israel's going nowhere. They got thousands of nuclear weapons. Israel's not my thing. I'm obsessed with it all day long. I am just not, as a U.S. taxpayer, I say that I support herding 1.5 million people into the ocean. Pharaoh tried with the Jews with Ramses II at the Red Sea. Okay? That is full optics and it's wrong morally. That's wrong. That's wrong. And so I'm against it. And if all the crazy people now if the ADL wants to attack me, just do it. I don't care. Okay? And I'm not trying to decide all the pro-Islam, crazy white supremacist lunatics. Well, they hate me too. Good. Hate me. I'm gonna stand on what's... And that's it. I know that as viewers and listeners, you've heard callers call in and talk about how X3 has changed their life. You've heard listeners talk about how incredible 10-hour clean energy Turbo Force is. Both products are back in stock right now. In fact, X3 has been sold out for more than 6 months. But despite that, it is free because I want the people who have never tried the product to try it. Our regular listeners and the folks that have already tried it are chopping. Get it. We appreciate them. Listen, 1% of you ever buy a product at Forge.com. Go there. Try X3. It's essential to all electric evaluate your body. This is the purest quality. Try iodine out there. Go to yourself to get a bottle and experience it for yourself. It takes a few weeks to kick in. On average, get X3. Get Turbo Force 10 hours of energy at InfoWarsStore.com. Both of them discounted right now. Please support us. Get a book, get a film, get a t-shirt, get Nitric Boost, get it all at InfoWarsStore.com. InfoWarsStore.com. Turbo Force. Next level foundational energy. They're all incredible products. Next level foundational energy is not sold. It just isn't a stimulant. No, it's the energy in the cell. Different level energy. That's why it's next level. That's why Turbo Force is 10 hours of energy. It isn't a bunch of things. The good letdown. Turbo Force. Next level foundational energy. Clean out your blood. Everybody should on now. Nitric Boost. InfoWarsStore.com. Nitric Boost. The people. Thanks for your support. We'll be right back. InfoWarsStore.com.
If you are receiving this transmission, offer the resistance.
We got a special guest coming up here, but I want to continue with your phone calls. Kurt in New Jersey on the Israel war. Go ahead, thanks for calling.
Try to kill people. That's exactly what they're doing.
But, and my job is not to defend Israel or Hamas or Hezbollah, it's to get the truth. That's my job. God, it's so easy. Don't worry about being attacked. Don't be attacked. Worry about being right in front of God. And, oh, that's Biden. Sent $6 billion a month before to Iran. I said Hezbollah was behind it. They later bragged about it. Then Biden defends Hezbollah. It doesn't bring up Hezbollah. So there's a stand down. There's a backroom deal with Iran to fund the attack. And then all this goes on. There's a bigger picture here is what I'm saying.
And you were talking about that disgusting rabbi, he used to go on the Howard Stern show and do disgusting, talk about disgusting sex topics back in the 90s and all that. That guy is a literal demon. You can see him when you watch the videos of him. I just watched a video of him with Piers Morgan the other day, defending the genocide, and I wanted everybody should.
I'm here to get you out.
Take on the term genocide deniers and play.
They do something to your eyes.
Language game that they do with us with Holocaust denier, and climate deniers.
No, I hear you. I'm a genocide denier. And if the Jews were being bombed by a high-tech enemy or being pushed into the ocean and being killed, I'd be against it. And so that's, I mean, this is just wrong.
Absolutely. And I got a point on, too, that I've heard you say many times that it's completely...
We'll talk, but not here.
That Hitler the war starts going down the drain, and Germany was losing the war. That
You've secured the target. I'll send the chopper to get you out. Make your way to the RV. You can check the location on your iDroid.
I appreciate your call, man. Look, I'm not going to defend it. I'm actually not major historical research. I'm actually read the writings of Hitler. His secretary.
Slowed you down one bit.
The final solution order.
So heavy.
1943, right? And the German Central Command, General Staff said, these were speaking Russian. He said, I don't care. Kill him. So to deny that Hitler was exterminating people, you can debate how he did it or
This is Pequod. Arriving shortly at LZ.
There's something I want to show you.
The Russians died fighting the Nazis. I don't support the Nazis. I don't like their
This is Pequod. On station at LZ.
And that's what this is all about. I'm not with all the behavior that Israel's involved in. I'm also not with all the Hitler's a great guy. So I just don't. Kanye West was here a year ago. All he could do was repeat how much he loved Hitler over and over again. He was a robot. You know, he's a big Christian. Meanwhile, he's out there with his wife's ass hanging out everywhere. It's all a bunch of bracelets. And to me, it's too different people. Right?
Ahab, do you read me? This is Pequod. There's a gas covering the LZ. We can't land. Pulling back.
All right? I'm not
Gas.
for Israel and the things it's doing, and I'm not for the Muslims and what they're doing. But I don't believe little children that God deserve to be carpet bombed, and it's wrong. They went, oh, Jones called for carpet bombing. You know, no. I said I believe Israel shouldn't go in. It's into destroying Israel. So they were when they got a carpet bomb. Oh, he said carpet bomb. No, I said just like I wargame Russia and the U.S. having a nuclear war and what Russia may do. It doesn't mean I support nuclear war when I get up here and
Boss,
I
watch out.
wargame
It's the skulls. Don't let them find us.
Boss, whatever that mist is, it's all around you. We can't see through it. I'm changing the RV so it's outside the mist. Get over there. The chopper will be waiting.
And there needs to be a ceasefire, there needs to be a peace deal. Great. That's my opinion. That's what I believe. Disagree, that's fine. I'll be right back.
Rival Shield X3 is back in stock at allgamesstore.com. Now, I don't have to tell you all the amazing benefits of these. You can take the time to look that up yourself. Right here that I
Got to lose them.
study over all the amazing.
They'll catch up to you on foot. Use your horse. This is Pequod. They'll catch up to you on foot. Use your horse.
Like metabolic efficiency, detoxification benefits, cognitive and neurological support, skin enhancement even, and prevention of thyroidism. Make sure you visit InfoWarsStore.com today and get Survival Shield X3 now at 40% off.
Boss, whatever that mist is, it's all around you. We can't see through it. I'm changing the RV so it's outside the mist. Get over there. The chopper will be waiting.
Bear is an 6-time award-winning former senior correspondent for the Sunday Times and author of books on Hezbollah and Iraq. She's at X under her name. We'll put that lower third under her. And I was on an X Spaces with some folks over the weekend that reached millions of people, and I thought she was articulate. So give her perspective. I believe she's joining us north of Israel in Lebanon, and she wants to talk about Gaza and the unfolding genocide. Guys, let's put up the U.S. definition of genocide. And when I tweeted this last week, and I got literally 50 million views on X, I noticed the totally pro-Israel crowd said, oh, we don't follow U.S. law. Well, it's international law. Israel's against genocide. Genocide means directly trying to wipe out a religious or cultural group, either partially. Let's pull up the definition under U.S. law, or pull up my original tweet. genocide is the intentional destruction of a people in a whole. 1948, the United Nations Genocide Convention defined genocide as any of 5 acts committed to destroy, in whole or in part, national, ethnic, racial, or religious group. And so, I can play these clips of Israeli TV saying, and Netanyahu invoking the Old Testament to wipe out men, women, and children. And it's one thing to go kill Hamas. It's one thing to try to get the hostages. It's another thing to just start in the north and all the way, just destroy everything. I said the way they could, not have huge casualties, would be to level the whole place. But I said they shouldn't do that. That was a war game describing what Israel could do. I said, Steve Bannon and Eric Prince, they shouldn't do that. That was back in October, days after it happened. Now, here we are, and Israel is destroying itself in public opinion worldwide. I would say the ratio everywhere is at least 9% against Israel. So we've reached a tipping point, and you've got people running around saying if you're against any of them, then you're a horrible person. And that's only making people get more pissed. Because I know my audience, and I know not Israel focused, it's not our main focus. We're focused on prosperity and Western values in America. But when you come out and say it's wrong to say just kill everybody, well, you're an anti-Semite. No. I'm against genocide. If those Muslims, those Palestinians are Semites. So, Hala, thank you so much for joining us. I know you've got a lot of information. What is your overall view on this? And with the announcements, they're now going to push everybody in the ocean. In the final areas in southern Gaza, what this is going to look like and how the world is going to see this. We had the Israeli spokesperson say last Wednesday he doesn't care if the whole world turns against Israel, including America. And so as bad as Biden is, he's even been balking in this, saying this will be a PR disaster for Israel, not to mention all innocent people that died. Imagine the images of refugee tent camps being bombed, drones and aircraft missiles. I mean, if you want it...
This is Pequot. Arriving shortly at LZ. This is Pequot. Have arrived at LZ. We'll stand by.
What is going on? Do you think in the elite leadership we know Netanyahu is in power with 20% of the vote, parliamentary manipulation? I don't want to say he speaks for everybody in Israel. Israel has nuclear weapons, even if I hated Israel, which I don't. I don't want to get rid of Israel, it's the end of the world. This is a very dangerous moment. Expert view on this.
Let's concentrate on what's going on in Gaza. Israel at the moment is conducting a genocide, whether it accepts that definition or that accusation or not. The fact of the matter is they have literally destroyed everything.
The mist is cleared, and it looks like they're gone.
They have galvanized to basically rubble.
Those things. It's the unit that attacked us before. They came at us real fast in the same kind of mist. I bet survivors from 9 years ago were wiped out in minutes. I don't know what they want, but it's them.
All right.
No mistake.
Put Miller in.
Clear. We have electricity over. They have spilled over 1,000 people. There's about 10,000 of the rubble that we know of, and the estimates are expected to be much higher than what we're actually saying.
Handing out.
basically either to wipe out the Palestinians or to get rid of them, as you said, Gaza, into other countries. Now, that particular point is not going to happen because there is a determination amongst all the world, and in particular the neighboring countries with Gaza, both Jordan and Egypt, not accept that. In other words, Israel.
Remember the guys you brought back from the base in Cuba 9 years ago? Believe it or not, some of them survived that hell we went through. Word reached them that Big Boss is back and they wanted in. They're good men. Our brothers in fate. They'll be glad to know you've seen them here.
that they would like to regain Gaza and turn it into some, beautiful coastal resort that is part of Israel, but without the Palestinians. So if that is not genocide, I don't know what is.
Well, why do we see green arrogance by people like Jared Kushner saying, well, there's nothing left in Gaza anyways, we're just going to take it over and build oceanfront
Some
property.
operation we had, huh?
It's like they're trying to act
9
like
years
villains.
ago.
I don't understand this.
Carving out our own world. Making our own future.
Yes, the fact that Israel
away.
is doing all this and continues to do all this and has been doing all this is because it has had blind support by the US, by the UK, by France, by Germany, and the Western world, the main Western countries.
Rebuild it.
As long as they support it,
Make a new
they
place.
pay lip service every
Together.
now and then by saying,
That we can
there
call
are too many
home.
casualties be happening. Israel should be more careful in how it's conducting itself. But then they go on
Yeah,
about
we were
Israel
dogs,
having
all right.
the right defense. Now,
Slinking
self-defense
around
is
out of
one
sight
thing,
for sight.
but that does not mean
Picking up whatever
it's
kind
an
of dirty
open
money we
license
can
to kill
find.
and murder, which is exactly
You
what
name
Israel
it.
is doing. And it's
did
been
it.
doing it because the United States, first and foremost,
See
has
this?
allowed it to do it. While it pays lip service,
Diamond
on the other
dogs.
hand, it is continuing shipments of arms,
Our new home.
without which Israel would not be able to conduct what it's conducting in Gaza. So let's not forget that the country that has supported Israel is actually complicit in what has been happening in Gaza and to the Palestinians. Gaza now is literally uninhabitable. Self-defense does not mean bombing every single university, not even bombing. I mean bringing it down, wiping it out. Mosques, hospitals. It's making sure that this piece of territory will be uninhabitable, cannot be habitable in the future when that is, and when this war that has been launched is over.
Well, let's speak to that. I want to continue with that, but let me just make just a layman's perspective. Watching those obvious teenagers walk at the middle of a road towards the Israelis with no weapons and being vaporized by drone missiles was like watching somebody with a magnifying glass frying ants, or someone pulling the legs off a grasshopper. That's why I said robotic genocide. It's like Mars attacked, and we're watching aliens blow up U.S. It's this archetypal defenselessness that okay, some people went and did some bad things to Israel. Great, get them. This idea that a whole people are to blame, that is the definition of genocide. I cannot be part of this. I just can't imagine what's going on in Israel. From your research, do you think the average Israeli supports this?
Look, a lot of Israelis at the moment want for the Israelis to conduct or to carry on with this war. Also are actually quite upset and are distancing themselves from the amount of deaths in the Palestinians. I mean, amongst the Palestinians. But the majority actually really think that has happened is not enough so far, and that more should continue. So population at the moment is backing this military offensive. I don't know how much. The point is, Alex, is how much of being in as far as the destruction and the mayhem and the death that is accumulating in Gaza. And they have been geared to think that October 7th happened, and that was one of the attack against Israel. They call it since the Holocaust, or the largest numbers of Israeli killings killed since the Holocaust. And they've been sort of to think, the narrative has been thrown that this is like, if it's allowed, there will be another Holocaust happening against the Israelis, if you want, right? Even though this is not a war about Jews, this is a war with Zionists. Whatever is going on is because you have an elite that is running Israel that are purely Zionists, and they are determined to wipe out the Palestinians.
Well, let me give them a message. What the ADL and the Israeli leadership are doing is turning people against Jews, and I do not support. I want to be 100% clear. I don't like Hitler. I don't like anti-Semitism. I don't like any of this, okay? And I'm not a big fan of bringing Islam into the West. I don't think it fits or works. I'm very clear about where I stand, but watching the stuff on Israeli national television saying, quoting the Bible, we're going to kill all of them, including the children, I don't think the average Jew worldwide or public realizes this has turned the whole war against people. So if you wanted a danger of a new Holocaust, you're creating it. And I'm seriously concerned about the aftermath. Already, this has devastated world opinion of Israel, and I'm not Israel's watchdog. I don't work for Israel, but also, don't want a bigger crisis there. They got nuclear weapons. This is out of control. So I pull back, and I know that the Israelis are not stupid, and they've got their spokespersons out deliberately saying these are animals. We're going to kill their children too. Why the hell? If you're going to kill children, that's bad enough. Why would you brag about it? I mean, this is just, I look at this, and I'm somebody that's trying to stay out of this, but I morally cannot be.
Well, because they're arrogant, and because they've been allowed, and because they know that no one will stop them. Let me put it to you this way, Alex. This thing has not been going on since October 7. This has been going on since the birth of the state of Israel. Going on 75 years. The Palestinians have been literally dehumanized for 75 years. They've been thrown out of their country. They've been cities and towns. They've been persecuted. They've been killed. They've been maimed. They've been attacked left, right, and center for 75 years. So this whole thing did not stop. So let's make that clear. As far as the Israelis are concerned, and the government in particular now, Netanyahu and the government, which is a very right-wing government, they do not want to see a Palestinian state being created. They do not want to see a Palestinian state happening in Israel, side by side with the Israelis. So if it's up to them, they would like to get rid of the Palestinians, whether it's to ship them across to other countries or to neighboring countries. They do not want, and they've said it. Netanyahu spoken about Amalek and others. Their officials, they've all called them. I mean, they've called the Palestinians animals, subhumans. When they say every man, woman, and child should be killed because they want a future generation of Palestinians living there. They want to eradicate the Palestinians so that they can then claim the land and live there. This is want. Now, this is not to say that because you have also a large sector of the Israelis that are actually the Orthodox. They are saying that this does not represent us. This is Zionism, and Zionism is not Judaism. It's not Judaism. It's not us, and they are standing against it. But they do not have the power and do not have the majority. But there is a large sector that is against it. As far as the Israelis are concerned, to this day, after 75 years of conducting war, whether it's against the Palestinians, the neighboring, like Lebanon, for example, right? There has not been a single resolution carried out or imposed against Israel. The only resolution that happened, sanctions. There's not been a single sanction that has been done against Israel. The only sanctions are actually 4 sanctions against a few settlers. That's it. This in the...
Jabir, let me ask you this question. What is the timetable for the bombardment of Rafah? For those that don't know, 1 million+ people herded into a tiny area, blocked in by huge Egyptian barbed wire fences, 75 feet tall, Israeli walls, and we're going to sit here and watch them carpet bomb tent cities. I mean, my God, you create our worst PR disaster. So just because Israel has had nothing but support until now, can they not? It's totally turned. I mean, this is crazy. So let's war game this, which we're not calling for this. We're not calling for the Israelis to bomb Rafah. We're not calling for war with Russia. When I war game this, it's a scenario. What happens if the Israelis bombard Rafah and cities? What will the world respond to that with?
So what will happen is you'll have hundreds of thousands of people killed. That's the first thing, including women and children, innocent women, defenseless, innocent women and children. They'll be murdered, slaughtered, basically. Second, the world. It's been 6 months. This war against the Palestinians that happened. It's been 6 months. It's been actually playing out live on our screens, live on social media. During the Holocaust, the excuse of the Western world was we didn't know. We didn't have the technology we had now. Nobody knew what was, and it was they came to it very late. But what is their excuse now? Everyone knows. Everybody is watching this live, including the governments in the US and the Western world and the UK, and they've done nothing after 6 months. So you think that if they do Rafah, the world will change? They will only change maybe when 100,000 people are killed in one go. If that's what they want, then that's the only way this is going. Now we know from everything that's come out from everything we've read and heard from the Americans is they are actually trying to get Israel not to launch an offensive or to march into Rafah because they know this will be disaster. Okay. However, the Israelis so far keep on saying that no matter what, we are going to do Rafah. So far, Israel has failed. Israel is also acting in anger. It went in assuming, and it was a false assumption and a presumption by itself that it would take a week, it would wipe out Hamas and release the hostages and conduct a military offensive at once, eradicate, as it said, quote unquote, eradicate and terminate Hamas. They went in. Hamas turned out to be much better prepared, and it's 6 months later. The two conditions that Israel wanted are to release, not conditions. The two things Israel wanted to do, achievements, was to release the hostages and eradicate Hamas. 6 months later, it did so much and destroyed an entire city, and it has not released any hostages except 2, and it has not eradicated Hamas, and it will never be able to.
So, Hala, let me ask you that you're making great points.
It's failed in its objectives. As long as it fails in its objective, it will continue. Netanyahu wants to save his face, basically. He wants something to say to his public, to his audience. Look, we achieved our goal. So far, he has not achieved anything except create the mayhem that he has.
All right, so that's my next question, because I really respect your analysis and I agree with it. But let's talk Turkey here. I don't mean Turkey literally, I mean just in general. I've studied the region, it's fascinating, but I'm not an expert like you that's lived here your life and is in Lebanon. But why does Hamas, with Hezbollah support, go into Israel? I know it's a prisoner exchange, I get that. I know a lot of the Jews that were killed was friendly fire. That's been even the Jerusalem Post admits a 7-hour stand down. So clearly, either Netanyahu or someone under him ordered a stand down. We know there was a stand down. Why would Hamas do this, knowing what would happen to them? A, because it doesn't them, and then B, why would Israel stand down? There's some bigger calculation, and I think some weird feeling, because we know Israel. And again, when I say this, people say I'm anti-Israel. I'm anti-lies. Israel, in 1976-77, for those who don't know, as you just said, Hala, did not want a legitimate Palestinian Authority with hotels and restaurants and beaches. So they put in Hamas to be radical, to discredit all that. And it was very, say Western, but very advanced before all this. We know that. So Israel put in Hamas before. They claim they're trying to destroy Hamas. They stand down for Hamas to attack. What are you hearing? Well, what's really behind this?
Well, I can't speak for why Israel did or didn't, but we know that Israel has the most sophisticated equipment, the most sophisticated listening devices, the most sophisticated technology and security apparatus that we know of. So what failure happened, or whether they wanted this to happen because this was an excuse for them then to go in and do what they're doing in Gaza, I don't know. I mean, I can't tell for a fact. This is reading what we're hearing, what we know. Like you said, it took 7 hours before there was intervention. In the meantime, why did Hamas, just let's be clear, Hezbollah did not go in with Hamas. Hamas carried out this operation on its own.
No, I'm not saying Hezbollah wasn't. Yeah. I'm saying Hezbollah clearly is working with these groups and giving them training. I think even Iran's bragged about that. But separately, what about Israel being involved in the of Hamas?
Well, Israel helped, not so much in founding, it helped allowing Hamas to develop and be formed and be born and carry on, because it assumed that Hamas wanted Hamas to be, in order not to have a Palestinian unity. So as long as Hamas was there, it was trying to weaken the Palestinian Authority, the PA. So it supported Hamas, financed it for a while, in order to weaken the Palestinian Authority, which was the main political party of the Palestinians for years. And played that role for a while until Hamas then bulked and decided to go its own way, because it realized that also under occupation it's being dehumanized and it has the right to resist.
No, I mean I agree with you. It's just like China.
Yeah.
Communist China was a project of the West. The West, that's clear. So now Israel is really trying to eradicate Hamas.
that's what they say, eradicate an ideology. I mean, you might kill some leaders, you might kill a few people, you might kill a leadership, but this there's an ideology, and also it's it's never built. This is not built vertically. It's built it's built horizontally. So one was another. I'm going to tell you something else. You have 40,000 people killed. You have children that have watched their parents being slaughtered. You have young men that have seen wives and their children being slaughtered. What do you think the next Hamas is going to be like? It's going to be much more radical than what we're seeing now. So all Israel achieved is actually created the next force in the future that's going to go again and attack it, not attack it, resist it, okay, fight back, and try to get its freedom. Because bottom line is, Gaza is under occupation, whether Israel agrees to it or not. It's occupied. The West Bank is occupied. You cannot occupy people. It's a 21st century. 2024. Give me one country in the world that's still occupied aside from the Palestinians, that doesn't have a state aside from the Palestinians, that can't even breathe without permission from the Israelis aside from the Palestinians, that can't leave the areas. It's the largest prison on earth, without Israeli permission. Literally every move they make has to have Israeli permission, whereas within the Palestinians. And
all right, Hala, stay there. Let's war game this. Look at different scenarios the Israelis do, and what's going to happen if in front of the whole world, men, women, and children are bombed as early as tomorrow. I mean, this is going down, folks. I want to be on record. I am not part of this. I do not support this. Be right back.
Survival Shield X3, now back and better than ever with a whopping 40% discount. It's your ticket to a healthier you, powered by the might of activated iodine. Picture this, a product that derives from ancient sea salts buried deep beneath the earth, harnessing a cutting-edge process that stabilizes iodine in a groundbreaking tri-iodine formula. Imagine waking up feeling rejuvenated, your body's processes humming smoothly like a well-oiled, all thanks to Survival Shield X3. This isn't just a step up from the old nascent iodine system, it's a quantum leap in health supplementation, and with you, the patriot, in mind. Survival Shield X3 has got your back, providing peace of mind and body in these uncertain times.